Okay, everyone, I'm going to continue on with the last video I made, review number 10. I hope you watched that already, because this will definitely flow right into it, so to speak. So I'm going to skip those problems for later, as you'll find out why. But anyways, on this number 10 here, guys, notice again they gave us the graph. And we're trying to match it up with one of the equations down below. Well, there are several good strategies to this, but I'm going to tie it in with the one strategy I basically showed you on the last video. Okay, I'm just going to quickly take each function here and pretend I'm making a little table. This time though, I'm just going to do the main point, which we will call the vertex. If I put in -1, is it -1 plus 1, 0? In other words, I start with whatever makes it 0. That's how I knew I was going to use -1. And I end up with -4. And then if you look over here, -1, -4 seems to work. Okay? And if I tried it here, I would end up with -1, 3. So obviously that one doesn't work. This one right here, I end up with -1, 4. Again, whatever makes that 0, that's what I'm using for my x value. And so -1, 4 works there. And of course, this one here will give me -4, 3 actually. So I'm choosing between A and C. Now what? Notice how C is a negative absolute value, whereas A is positive. Since my absolute value is going down, guys, I would therefore conclude it must be C. All right, look at this one right here. Again, same scenario. What makes that 0, of course, would be 8. 8 with a -3. This one would be 8 with a +3. This one would be -8, -3. And this one here would be -8, -3 as well. One's positive, negative. Now, let's look at our graph. If I go to -8, -3, aha. So already A and B are wrong because they don't even have the right vertex. Again, it's facing down. It's opening down, right? It's not opening up. It's down and not up, which means it has to be a negative instead of a positive absolute value. Okay? Well, D is the one that's negative. So without even testing any more points, I can safely conclude the answer is D. The -4 in front gave it away. Okay, this one here. Now this is more to my liking, but now we'll get to choose between the graphs. So let's start with a function up here. Let's make a table. And again, it doesn't have to be a large table. As a matter of fact, we're going to use -5 because -5 makes it 0. And I'm just going to pick one more, like -6. Okay? And only one of these graphs is going to match that. So plugging in the -5, I would get this. And again, the whole point was it was going to make a 0, right? 0 plus 2, of course, is 2. Then let's plug in the -6 as well. And so we're going to get -6 plus 5, absolute value plus 2. -1, absolute value of is 1, plus 2 is 3. So I'm just going to test these 2 points over here. Now, I know it's a little small, but I could tell you right now, if you look carefully, -5 is about right there. I'm looking at the first choice A, right? And let's see here, 2, yeah, that looks like -5, 2 there. -6, 3 looks like it goes right there. It looks like this is my right graph. If we were to verify the other ones, this one's totally on the wrong side. It's 5, 2. Remember my mistake earlier in the video or yesterday. This one right here looks like it's more like -2, +5. And if you look at the vertex here, it's in a totally wrong quadrant down here. So the answer must be the first graph, choice A. finally, this one right here, as far as graphs. Now, guys, you probably learned lines ever since elementary school. I'm just going to get right to the point here. Do you agree right there, my B, or as we call the y-intercept, watch the scale now, is positive 2. Notice we're counting by 2's here, both ways. And if I start right there at 0, 2, and I'm going to pick that other good point right there, you will note that I'm going to have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and then over 1. And going down 4 over 1 means my slope is negative 4. So long story short, the answer is C, right? Because we all got to know y always equals mx plus b in linear equations. All right, guys, so now we come to the one I skipped earlier for good reason. Here we're given a linear quadratic system. And the thing I want to point out, even though some teachers won't necessarily tell you this, but if it's a multiple choice test, guys, I would actually try to solve it like I'm doing over here to the right. Okay? So in that case, how do I do that? Well, since they both equal y, I can set them equal to each other, correct? And then, guys, all I really did, watch carefully, is I minused x both sides. And I also added 1 to both sides. And now I have an improved quadratic equal to 0. Remember, it's got to equal 0 to be able to solve it. And then I could have used quadratic formula, but hopefully you guys are pretty good at factoring now. So all I did was do 4 times negative 1 for negative 4. 4 and negative 1 is positive 3. I know my answer is at negative 4, 1. And if I want the complete answer, I'm going to take my easier linear equation, and I'm going to plug in the negative 4 to get negative 5. So my point's at negative 4, negative 5, in other words. I'm going to plug the 1 in to the equation as well. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So my other solution is 1 for x, y equal to 0. And I'd be done. Okay? But let's say this is a free response question. Or let's say it's on the SBAC where you have to click and drag and actually graph it. What are you going to do? Well, guys, let's go back to the old reliable. First of all, when it's in standard form, guys, you got to remember negative b over 2a to find the vertex. Okay? Knowing the vertex is negative 2, notice I put the vertex in the middle of my table. And then I just simply counted up and down 2 numbers each way, bigger and smaller. And I completed my table. Okay? And so, to save a little time, guys, all my evaluation is down here. I plugged in negative 4 first, for example, and negative 3, and then negative 2. I completed my table. So now it's just a matter of graphing it, right? So let's go ahead and go back to this first graph because I'm going to slide this up a little bit if I can. Like so. Give myself more room to graph, in other words. There we go. And let's get right to it. So if you had to do this, guys, you're going to start graphing the points. Negative 4, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a point there. I also note that 0, due to symmetry, is negative 5 as well. So 0, negative 5 is there as well. I'm going to go off my grid here a little bit. I also note that negative 3 is negative 8. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, guys, I got interrupted there. Let me continue on. By symmetry, I also know that negative 1 is negative 8. And then, of course, I'm going to plot the vertex negative 2, negative 9. So negative 1 is also negative 8. And negative 2 is negative 9. So as you can see, guys, here's my quadratic, like so. And let's go ahead and get the line in there as well. So the line, of course, is real simple. Y equals x minus 1 means the intercept's -1 and my slope is +1. So if I started right here at -1, all I have to do is go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And as you can see, they're going to intersect over here. And they're going to intersect up here as this graph goes up there. Okay? And that, of course, corresponds to our points -4, -5, and 1, 0. So anyways, guys, hopefully this review video number 11 made sense to you. Please keep watching. I really want some of you to earn extra credit. For some of you, however, I also want you to get ready for this challenge exam. So maybe you can test out an IM3 and be in Trig Pre-Calc next year. See you in class.